This is Danny's Dimensions. Let's talk about last week's fight between David Benavidez and Caleb Plant for the interim WBC super middleweight title. This fight was basically the tale of two halves. The first half was controlled by Caleb Plant, who used his boxing ability, his jab, his movement, and he smothered David Benavidez on the inside when Benavidez tried to get his punches off. So he couldn't really get off because he was resorted to walking straight in with both hands held high, and he allowed himself to be smothered on the inside so he couldn't work. And there was no jab. But once again, as we see here, Caleb Plant's jab was very evident. Sticking and moving was also a key element in Plant's attack to thwart Benavidez and keep him off balance. Now, I wasn't too much of a fan of his showboating antics that he had early on. You still had a long fight to go, but nonetheless, after 6 rounds, I had it 4-2 for Plant. I think he was offsetting Benavidez a lot, but I just want to say, make a disclaimer alert, I did have it 5 rounds to 1 and alive. Anybody that want to try to say something about it, I changed my mind after I watched the fight a second time, and it's 4-2 for Plant. Now that I got that off my chest, in the second half of the fight, David Benavidez very much so controlled the fight, and Caleb Plant began to tire. He got a cut over his eye from a headbutt in the 8th round. And from then on, it was all David Benavidez. From rounds 5 to 12, it was all him. And he was able to land more crisp, accurate punches. So here's Benavidez landing some short, accurate punches inside. That was a low blow, but there's an overhand right, and there's a left hook right on the jaw of Caleb Plant. As a result, as you can see, Caleb Plant resorted to egregiously holding in an attempt to survive, hanging on to Benavidez and smothering him a lot. I'm going to keep it real with you. A lot of people talk about Kenny Bellis' performance, the referee. They talk about his performance, how he allowed Caleb Plant to get away with a lot of holding and a lot of roughhouse tactics in the end of the fight. But I think David Benavidez has something to do with that as well, because he allowed Caleb Plant to survive. He allowed himself to be smothered. He didn't use his jab. He walked straight in with his hands held high. And I think he could have did a little bit better in that regard. If someone wants to hold, you cannot be a willing partner in that. And I feel that's what Benavidez did. All in all, with those short shots on the inside, even though David Benavidez didn't let his hands go in combination like we normally see, I gave him the last 7 rounds, so he dominated the last 7 rounds of the fight. My scorecard was 116-112 for Benavidez. The official judges' scorecard was 115-113, 116-112, 117-111. Congratulations to David Benavidez, wins a unanimous decision over Caleb Plant. And what's next for both guys? Well, for Benavidez, there's a proverbial Canelo Alvarez fight, provided that Canelo, with the negotiations with Bivol, falls through. As for Caleb Plant, I think that he's not done. He showed heart, he showed skill, but he showed that there is a blueprint to beat him. He gasses out late, so he must get a strength and conditioning trainer so that he can focus on those deficiencies, because people will wait him out and then try to take him into deep waters and drown him. And that's a problem, and that's something that he needs to correct. And as it pertains to the pay-per-view buys for Benavidez-Plant, Bob Arum had this to say.
Many of these pay-per-view fights, like the one last Saturday, did less than 100,000.
Did it?
Yeah.
So what Bob is saying, there could be some truth to what he's saying, and if that is the case, it's indicative of the fact that you have 2 good fighters but not great fighters on a pay-per-view platform that really shouldn't be a pay-per-view platform. It would have done better on regular Showtime, way better in my opinion. But yet you have these networks charging you $75, $84, and above for fights that are not pay-per-view fights. I want to thank you guys for watching today. Next week, I'll have the breakdown of Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. But just real quick on your way out of here, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It's your boy Danny, and I'm out of here.